Hi, everybody. This is Jeff, and I just wanted to cover maybe a problem that you might run into when you download the tutorial files for the project that we're going to be working on under the Getting Started. If you go into, once you download the files, Create with VR, and then you go into the VR room assets, in the scenes is where we'll be starting, and we have a version in the lab which is 2021.3.3 F1, and this was actually made in .4 F1. So there might be a little bit of an issue. So I wanted to show you how to fix that. So if we start it up, you'll see probably pretty immediately the error will come up, and it did opening project and non-matching. So it's saying, once again, that it was made in 341 and we're using 331. I'm just going to click continue, and it'll come up with another error here in a second. Um, yeah, an error occurred because the problem is this Unity render pipeline, universal render pipeline. It's an older version in the one that when we have in 331, so it's not working really well. So I'm just going to click continue, and then it's going to start to load a bunch of the stuff, and I'll actually put it on pause and let it load while, and it may take a while for it to load, so just let it load. Okay, it finished loading, and as you can kind of see, the problem is we're getting on his scene, it's actually like a light brown background, and this is hot pink, which means that it's not, the material is not being loaded for some reason, and we know the reason is because of that. Um, if we look under plane, because that's the plane that is, and then look under materials, it's missing a material, which is made with that universal rendering pipeline. So until we get the correct version in there, it's not going to render correctly, and a lot of the materials here in a second you'll see a lot of the materials will be pink when they load here. You can kind of see all the ones that are missing. So I'm going to go back to assets. And so another thing that you can also look at too is under edit project settings, under graphics, you can kind of see that there is not the render pipeline's not working correctly. So what we were going to do is we need to go to Window, Package Manager, and let it load up all the packages. It may take a little bit of time to load, so I'll put this on pause again. Okay, it did give us an error, and it did include the packages. And the package that we're having a problem with is down here. And you can kind of see a red dot next to it. If I click on that particular package, you can kind of see that rather than universal render pipeline universal RP, which it wants, it's this render dash pipelines universal, which is the older version, and it's given us an issue up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this package, and immediately you can kind of see that it's going to try to say, hey, well, here's a newer version. Do you want to load it, which is universal RP? So I'm going to click install, and this may take a second for it to install, so I might pause it as well. And when it does actually start loading, you'll see a pop-up here, and it'll start to change over all the different uh, the things. So I'll pause. Actually, here we go. So it's resolving all the packages, and you'll start to see sort of downloading and things like that. I'll pause it, and when it finishes, I'll show you what the results were. Okay, so it finished, and I just want to explain really quickly too that there's actually three different pipelines for rendering. There's sort of the generic Unity rendering pipeline. Then there's this universal, which it allows it to be optimized for mobile to high-end consoles, things like that. And then if you're really going to go to like a really high-end PC, there is the um, high definition render pipeline right here, and it's basically It's for really high graphical standards for the graphics. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and close this now, and you can kind of see now that it's actually fixed our the scene window. So we're good.